2, 3, 4. Money's so much. Shaboing, boing. Welcome to another exciting episode of Money Soapbox. I'm your host, Hollywood T. Monies. What's up to all our listeners out there? It's your boy Theron, the solo bro, holding it down for all the bros. One bro is probably off on official bro business. The other bro is probably off doing dad stuff. I don't really know. It could go either way with either bro. It's interchangeable things. These are the minds of my intellectual saviors to the masses. Shout out to my bros. Hopefully they're doing well. Shout out to Avengers Endgame. I'm not going to say anything else. Just going to leave it at that. Yeah. Let's get right into what we're here for, and that's a goddamn soapbox. I'm sorry for cussing and saying the Lord's name in vain in the same sentence. We are here now. Okay, so ever since we last spoke and had a show and had a soapbox, we've had a superstar shakeup. We've had a stalemate between a possibly spoiled little brat and or someone that has a name and stake to the claim of the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions in Sasha Banks. Let's just touch on that right now. Let's get that out the way because I feel like that's irrelevant. If you're going to be a crybaby, you might as well move to Miami with Josh Rosen and play for them. Because we don't need you in the WWE plaguing us with your crybaby antics. You want to quit because you dropped your titles. You've had, 3 or 4 Raw Women's title reigns. First ever Women's Tag Team Champions. You had a good run, kid. So what if they broke you up? You guys weren't doing anything anyway. Your gimmick was stupid. You're way better as a solo act. Stop being a crybaby. You know what I'm saying? Did Snoop Dogg act like a crybaby when he knew Death Row was headed for hell? No, he signed with No Limit. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, he got about that thing. Smooth. So, boss up, man. That was a horrible, horrible comparison because he left. We don't want you to leave, Sasha. I just want you to boss up. You know, it's like Steve Smith said to Rosen today. Boss up. So they stole your spotlight. Earn it back. You're worth it. You're one of the 4 horsewomen. Think of the accolade of being considered a horsewoman. Think of who the horsemen were. Legacy. Greatest faction ever. I don't care who thinks anyone's better. Nothing beats the horsemen. The NWO, I'm sorry, got oversaturated. So they've already lost. D-Generation X proudly brings to you, shut the F up. You're not in comparison. The Nation of Domination, I don't even need to say anything. Okay? Horsewomen. You can go down in legacy as one of the greatest women's competitors ever in this business. You don't leave when things get tough. You adjust, you adapt, or you perish. That is evolution. That's my soapbox on her. Let's get to the stuff that matters, okay? We got Becky effing 2 belts. I'm sorry for fake cussing. We can just have Becky 2 belts. Becky Balboa. Becky defends her title 2 times in one pay-per-view. So that's how we're doing this? She's not only SmackDown Women's Champion, she is Raw Women's Champion. And both belts are still active. They're not unified. You defend both at a pay-per-view? Okay, we'll see now. So Vince McMahon has pegged her as his rising woman to fame. Apparently he thinks she can go. She's got what it takes. He's given her 2 titles. He's now put her in a match against 2 pretty amicable competitors, I would say. Amicable. I'm amicable. Charlotte Flair. Okay. And Lacey Evans. Evans is still green, sure, but Evans, she can go. You watch out for this woman, mark my words. I'm not partially biased to her because of her ties to the Carolinas. She can go. Charlotte Flair, 8-time women's champion. She's only been on the main roster for like 3 years, I think, 4-ish. 8-time champion already. She's going to pass her dad in legacy of championship title reigns. Now, Becky Two Belts, this is no knock on you. Becky Balboa, the man, blah, blah, blah. But how are you going to beat both of them in one night? I just don't understand it. I don't even, and then if you do lose like this early, what was the point of you even winning in the first place? Right? I mean, I don't really see, I don't see her losing, I guess. But I'm not going to go into predictions right now. I think Money in the Bank is a couple weeks away. Hopefully we get a show before that. If not, then, you know, I maybe I'll come up with some picks or something. But, so, we're running with this Becky Two Belts thing. We're running with this woman is unstoppable. She is the one that is going to carry both titles, wears both belts proudly, defends both belts proudly. And we're doing Iron Woman. So my question, I guess, to the fans, and leave a comment or however you want to respond, go on Facebook. Our Facebook is still there. You can retweet us. This is all at Bros Before Elbows. That's Bros B, the number 4 elbows. Comment on our Instagram. I'm reaching with the Instagram thing. I think we have an Instagram. I don't know if we do have an Instagram, but if we do, you can leave a comment there. Facebook, definitely. Twitter, for sure. Yeah. And listen to us as well. This is a shameless plug for our podcast, the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. By the way, the views expressed to you on the Hollywood T Money Soapbox. That was horrible. The views expressed to you. Let's start over. Scratch that. I can't even scratch it. It's like Psycho said. It was right there. I had to do it. Scratch it. Let's do it over. You can't do it over. You're live. Ah, damn it. All right. So we're doing it over. The views expressed on Money Soapbox do not necessarily reflect the views of the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. However, Money Soapbox is brought to you by the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. Go figure, right? Back to the show. So I'm interested to see what Becky Two Belts does, how long they run with that for. Will they stick to that for a while? Like because she could. I mean, it's. We're not going to break kayfabe, but we know that things can happen to where she could win both matches. You beat a Charlotte Flair in a title match, that says something about you. And then you beat a formidable Lacey Evans, who's been walking down the aisle, slapping people, walking back up, and now she's finally getting active with this right hand. Pushed her straight to the top, and they said they were pushing her, so we're going to see what happens. She could be your new Raw Women's Champion. I mean, look out for it. Their division is like kind of weak, so like, I mean, they got to put someone up there, right? You know? So we'll see what happens with that. Other things, notables, I'll just kind of touch on who didn't really leave their brand. So like Drew McIntyre stayed on Raw. Who else stayed on Raw? Well, obviously Seth Rollins, your Universal Champion, is on Raw. The Revival is still on Raw. And now they got into a rap beef with a good team. Damn it, who was it? Was it the Usos? I think it was the Usos. I'm assuming it may not have been the Usos. Whoever it was, the Revival is still here. They haven't been let out of their contracts. They're still fighting. I don't know why people aren't over on the Revival. I'm bought into them. I like the gimmick. No fists or no, I don't know. Whatever it is, I like it. Their slogan's cool. The dude's got a Fu Manchu, you know, and he's out there doing his thing. Again, not partial to them because one of them's from Gastonia. Just so happens that a lot of people in the WWE are from North Carolina. Braun Strowman, Gastonia, shout out also. Anyway, so McIntyre stayed, but he's now in a feud with, damn, why am I drawing a blank on everything that's happening? Oh, who's his feud with? It's not Apollo Crews. I think he went to SmackDown. Miz is on Raw. Okay. Nonetheless, McIntyre's still on Raw. He's not at the top of the card right now. Oh yeah, he was in that triple dibble flibble thing. Triple threat. Baron Corbin, him. He lost that match. Baron Corbin qualified to go to the finals against AJ Styles, which AJ Styles won. AJ Styles is now at the top of the At the top of the list, number one contender to the Universal title gets a Universal title match at Money in the Bank versus Seth Rollins. This is the things you dream of, because you got to remember, ever since AJ Styles has been on the main roster, he's been on SmackDown Live. Seth Rollins has been on Raw. They haven't really crossed paths except for maybe in the Survivor Series match. So this is something you live for. You get Seth Rollins v the phenomenal AJ Styles. It's unprecedented. I know a lot of people were on the blogs and on the internet, and they were like, I'm not impressed with the shakeup. I think I saw it on Cage Side, and at first I was like, yeah, me neither. But then as I'm watching it, the things that are happening, I'm cool with. So AJ Styles straight to the top of the card, I'm cool with that, because there's really nowhere else for him to go. You don't want him in the U.S. title feud with Samoa Joe. Joe's feuding now with I forgot again. I don't even know where Braun Strowman is. Just kidding. But Joe's on Raw. Rey Mysterio's on Raw. I think they might still be beefing. You know, there was the whole Joe comes out to try to be part of the Universal title picture. He loses his qualifier. I think AJ Styles, or I don't remember whose three he was in, but I know he didn't win. He is your current U.S. champion. Look for him to tear up Raw with that. You now have a new Robert Roode. I think that's cool, and he's going to more than likely finally be the heel. And I'm all in on Robert Roode, man. Like, I don't know what Anthony and Tommy are looking for. I feel like they need everyone to be like Daniel Bryan or freaking The New Day or someone that flies across the ring or whoever it is that they like. I don't even know who their favorite wrestlers are. Matter of fact, Anthony and Tommy, I'm going to ask you now, who are your favorite wrestlers on the rosters right now? I want to know, because I have no idea. Other things happening. So we covered AJ Styles getting that title shot, and I'm excited for that. I like that storyline. I wanted to say I'm excited to see Styles Rollins this early, and see Rollins go over, because I'm never going to bet against Monday Night Rollins. So there's my pick right now. I'll say it again if we do picks before Money in the Bank, but it's all about Monday Night Rollins. I'm sorry, AJ Styles. Like, I know you're phenomenal, but you're not that phenomenal. You're not getting that title. It can't happen that early. Not to my man Seth. Now, U.S. titles on Raw, Samoa Joe, whatever. I just don't get behind that U.S. title. You guys need to go ahead, Paul, if you're listening. Go ahead and bring back the old design, man. It'll make that title relevant again. I promise you. Kids won't know it, but it'll build the relevancy, because I love that old U.S. title belt, man. That thing was so cool. This one now, it's just like, it looks flimsy, doesn't look like it weighs anywhere near 10 pounds. Like, come on, man. You know, you got to do better. So, cover that. Riot Squad breaks up. Unfortunate. What about all the other, things that happened? Andrade went over to Raw for like a week, beats Finn Balor. Finn Balor goes to SmackDown the next night. They bring Andrade back to SmackDown. They say that, it's because of Charlotte, but maybe it's because of the fact that Andrade and Finn Balor will give that Intercontinental title a lot of relevancy in a heated feud, and probably because Andrade is dating Charlotte. But Charlotte said that she's not married nor engaged, which means, you know what that means for Hollywood. She's still on the market. Let's get back to business. This is a PG show. Listen, I'm excited for Balor Andrade, man. I think that'll be, again, I'm just telling you, like, there's nothing I dislike. I don't care that the Riot Squad broke up. I mean, who cares? Like, they weren't really, like, it's like factions. It's only so much you can do. So there's 3 of you. There's 2 belts that y'all can win. There's 4 total, but you can only be on one brand. I'm sorry. I'm watching Pineapple. Pineapple Express is playing in the background. It's completely muted, but it's like to the part where it's that Rogan looks up and the dude's just murdered the fool. He just like throws his joint. This is horrible live soapboxing, but listen, we're going to get through it. I'm excited for whatever I just said. I'm excited for it, Cotton. I'm so excited. This whole Pineapple Express thing just threw my thought process way off of the rails. What was I talking about? Was I talking about SmackDown Live or Raw? I'm probably more on SmackDown Live right now. It's interesting because I mentioned the couples thing, Charlotte Andrade, Naomi, and whichever Fatu or whatever she's still, I don't even know. I don't know. Doesn't matter to me. That's awesome, though, that they're keeping them together. They're keeping all the couples together. Vince has a heart. I want ratings, okay? I want ratings from you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you're doing a good job of that. You also move the Drifter or the Walker or the Walkie Drifter Elias over to SmackDown Live and then pair him with the evil, diabolical best in the world. I'm sorry. He is the best in the world. Shane McMahon. So Elias has a link to the corporation or whatever they call them. The I forgot what they call themselves now. He's down with them. He's hanging with Shane O'Mac, and he's beefing with Roman Reigns. This is great for Roman Reigns. He's not right there at the top of the title picture. He's not feuding with Kofi. Kofi's going to get his little run. I think that everything they're doing is making sense, and it's on both brands. I don't care. I'll argue with the brothers if they come back and tell me differently, but I like what they're doing. Brock Lesnar has been vanquished to Neverland. We may not see him again anytime soon. And no one is mad about that. Elias is on SmackDown Live. AJ Styles is on Raw, and we're getting good feuds out of these big deals. Sami Zayn is staying on Raw. And he's going to be the perfect villain to tell people that they suck. Kevin, this has to be the last thing. I've probably trailed off on a lot of things. I've started conversations and not finished them. Forgive me, I'm getting old in my age and senile. But I've hopefully covered everything. We're good with AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw fighting for the Universal title. We're good with the Usos on Monday Night Raw for the tag division. Look for them in the Revival to tear up that tag division big time. If there's any tags I'm forgetting, they'll pop back up and I'll mention them later. Right now, the SmackDown tag team titles belong to the Hardy Boys, but I think one's hurt. Haven't seen much of the gold, but we know that there's a tag division over there on SmackDown. We're going to wait and see where that goes. Because you've almost made me forget. Can't get to Kofi and KO yet. What about Bray Wyatt's new repackaged Firefly Funhouse? I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure what they're going for with this character. Is this like Mr. Rogers meets Mr. Creepazoid? He's still using references to his old character. He is a new character, but he just has on this weird sweater over his old character. And then he puts his dreads in a bun. So I'm not convinced that we can't still see Bray Wyatt or Sister Abigail because his stuffed animals are weird looking monster puppets. So clearly the character's still a little strange, still a little off, but he's a nice guy. We'll gotta wait and see how they present him in the ring. But anything that Wyatt does, he's done his best with. Husky Harris will go down in infamy as, something we'll never talk about again. Bray Wyatt was a great character. You were just waiting for something to happen that just never happened. So we'll see what happens with this Firefly Funhouse. Now, on to the dirtiest double crosser in all of Double Crossville. And that would be our buddy, Kevin Owens, formerly known as Kevin Steen. He has once again double-crossed his ally. No surprise. Now, I don't know. They brought back Kevin Owens as a face, and they hyped that up for a little while. He didn't get a Mania match. He came back before Mania, but with no Mania match. I think he got a title shot at some Fastlane, but he didn't win. I don't remember why or what happened there. Kofi Kingston is your WWE champion. Kofi Kingston climbed the mountain that Mustafa Ali was supposed to climb. I want everyone to understand that Mustafa Ali was in line to be where Kofi Kingston currently is. And because Mustafa Ali got hurt, Kofi Kingston was pushed into that spot. I don't believe, and other people don't believe, and this is my thought, and it probably is true, that Vince McMahon was going to take one of his most powerful factions and just put them and push Kofi like this. I don't think that's been in the cards. I think that was a backup plan, and they went with it, and that's why it came across the way it did with D-Bry and the B+ player, and now Kofi's the B+ player, right? So, if you're the B+ player, and I also removed you from a match in the past as chairman of the company to replace you with Kevin Owens, what makes you think that dastardly diabolical fiend has changed at all? So look, we get the Kevin Owens that I've been asking about. The one that apron bombs people. The one that don't care. The one that lets out this slight exhale as almost every time he double crosses someone. It's as almost to say, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with this idiot anymore. Because you know that he thinks that they're all idiots, right? The character, not the real guy, okay? I just want to make sure we know this. But it's unprecedented. It was a weekend. I think he waited about a week. He gave him about 5-6 days. But you had to know, like, come on now. The Big O versus the Big E. Big E's hurt or whatever. He's just not on TV, vacation. He's not going to stick around. Why not pull the double cross move and get this heat started? Make this feud interesting. You don't want a face versus a face. That would be boring, you know. So I'm glad they did it this way. I'm happy with where SmackDown Live is at. They definitely have way more talent. I'm kind of bummed that Paige hyped up this tag team and it was just Kairi Sane and Asuka. So you take Asuka, who was undefeated for forever. I think she may have been the longest reigning women's champion on NXT. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. You tarnish her legacy by having her lose to Charlotte at WrestleMania, but I guess that increases Charlotte's legacy as having been the one to end Asuka's streak. 8-time women's champion, the Queen. I mean, there's no other way to explain that. But now Asuka's in a tag team, and that tag team's going to feud with the Iconics, and the Iconics are hot right now. So it's like, I love this, right? We're going to see what they do with all these stories, but there's so much emphasis on the women. And this isn't a sexist thing. I just want you to know, but it seems as though sometimes there's not any emphasis on the men anymore. So I'm asking nicely for you guys to come back and make sure that it's equally balanced. Because you got 2 women's championship matches in one pay-per-view. And then you got, well, I guess you got 2 men's championship matches as well, right? Kofi Kingston versus KO. So you know what? I guess it's easier. But we have yet to see any of the Raw and or SmackDown tag team titles stories really progress right now. I mean, we're seeing Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder get a big push, and that's awesome. I'm happy for Kurt Hawkins. I mean, you're talking about the guy that lost like 3 million matches. So I'm excited to see what happens in the coming weeks from this shakeup. Will we see a new champion soon? If so, who will be the first to lose their title? Here, I'll take a bet right now on all of them, I guess. I'm gonna say Becky in the women's division will drop the Raw title to Lacey Evans. I believe that will happen. But if she's on Raw, expect her to win that match and then lose to Charlotte Flair, so Charlotte can go back to SmackDown and do whatever she's doing. Men's side, Usos will become the Raw Tag Team Champions by the end of Money in the Bank, or right around there. So I guess Hawkins and Ryder will drop those titles first. And I want that to be relevant. I want people to respect the tag division for what it was and what it can be again. We just got to find another Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, or Arn Anderson and Barry Windham, or Arn Anderson and who the F ever, man. Like, it don't matter when you got a spine buster on your side. This has been my soapbox. Thanks for listening, and tune in soon for another episode of the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast and another one of Money Soapboxes. Hollywood Money signing out.